Whoa, 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 whoa.
What's the problem?
This
What's the matter?
This is not a Jet show.
So what?
So how about this?
Manning lobs it. Boris alone. Touchdown, New York.
Oh, come on. I don't want to hear this.
Why not? Super Bowl champions.
Doesn't matter. I just don't want to hear it.
What do you want to hear?
How about some Mets?
Hey, if I can find one good thing that happened to the Mets, here we go.
Home run. Mike Piazza. And the Mets lead 3-2.
Oh, yeah. It's got to be, I'm sorry. We all can't be like the Yankees.
Oh, speaking of.
This one by Mattingly. Oh, hang on to the roof. Goodbye, home run. Don Mattingly.
No. God, I can't believe I just said that. All right, well, listen. How about a little Nets?
If I have to.
Kid, the jumper to win it. He got it.
I can't take it. I can't take it anymore. It's been a second. I can't take it. How about some Knicks?
Oh, yeah, big spenders. Can't win a playoff game.
Fair enough.
Houston pops out up top, down the lane, running jumper off the front rim, and in.
I guess we should talk a little hockey, no?
People even watch hockey anymore?
They watch the Rangers.
Well, if you have the Rangers, you gotta have some violence.
Yeah, no, they didn't have YouTube in the 80s.
All right, let's get the show started.
Here we are, Polar Opposites. Hello and welcome to the Polar Opposites podcast on polaropposites.podbean.com. Oh, no, we're not. I keep doing that. It's been so many years of us doing that.
You got to cut that crap out, man.
That I forgot that we don't do that anymore. So we're not on there. We're actually on Spreaker.com. We're live on Spreaker right now. You can go to Spreaker.com/Polar Opposites. We're also on iTunes, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and Strong Island Radio twice a week. I'm Matt Stevens. Alongside me, as always,
is Craig Moffitt.
Craig!
Matty, how you feeling, Ham?
It's the world is against me right
Why?
now. The world sucks.
Why?
Okay, let's see.
Defend.
Let's see. Okay. Donald Trump is president. Okay. The Cubs won the World Series last year.
Okay. Well,
Okay. I don't want the Cubs to win the World Series.
Why?
Because
Oh, geez.
if you suck for 108 years, you should just suck forever. The Eagles just won the Super Bowl, Craig. The Philadelphia Eagles just won. Hold on. The Philadelphia Eagles just won the Super Bowl. And it sucks because, as an NFC East fan, that was the thing, right? When an Eagle fan would be like, oh, we got Donovan McNabb. He's so good. He's the best quarterback in the league. We could be like, win a Super Bowl. You know what I can't say anymore, Craig?
That they didn't win Super Bowl.
Yep, exactly. And that sucks.
Eh,
Also, their fans are douchebags. And guys, we won't get into this right now, but I do at some point would like to talk about the hypocrisy that exists when people mash windows of a Macy's and tear down Ritz-Carlton things and have food fight in Wawa's and set fire to things and turn over cars.
And eat horse poop.
When they do those things after winning a championship and they're white, it's super duper okay. But when you do those things after young kids get killed by cops unnecessarily, well, then you're horrible and you should all be put in prison.
Oh, it's a double standard.
The hypocrisy is unbelievable.
The double standard is
it's brutal.
It's over. It's
brutal.
Ridiculous.
Absolutely brutal. But we're not going to do that first. We're not going to do the Super Bowl first. We're going to do the Super Bowl in
polar bipolar.
Polar bipolar.
Because here's the thing. Everybody's talked about it. It's been exhausted to talk about for the whole day. So we're just going to do kind of quick hits from the Super Bowl in general. Listen, the game was great. A lot of yards. It was both defenses.
Nick Foles is the greatest quarterback in the history of the world, everybody.
Well,
the history of the world, Nick Foles. And if you're the Jets, go get him.
No, thank you. But we got a lot to do. But first, before we get to the Super Bowl stuff, we're gonna just talk quickly about the Mets as they bring.
Quickly?
Come on, man.
It's all right. No, it's fine.
Okay, where they have signed Todd Frazier to a 2-year, $17 million deal to play third base, which is a deal I really like.
Spectacular.
I cannot figure out why fans hate it. Because they've been calling up the stations all day complaining about it. I don't understand why. Maybe it's because it's not Moustakas.
Well, bro, you know what it is, bro. We always just get the old guy, bro, and then he ends up breaking down and shut your mouth.
Here's what I love. Here's what I like about Frazier.
He's awesome.
Okay, first of all, he plays good defense at third base, which is what you need. The second thing is he's a very good clubhouse guy, and I think that's also what you need for this team, in a way. The only downside about Todd Frazier, and it has nothing to do with Todd Frazier whatsoever, it's the fact that it looks like Cabrera is going to play second, and that's a defensive liability for me. But it has nothing to do with Todd Frazier. I love the Todd Frazier signing. I think it's a great signing. I mean, he'll put up his home run numbers. I don't expect him to hit for average. He's not really a good average hitter, but I think he's good for at least 20 to 25 if he makes it to a full season, which he's really hasn't shown me anything differently. This to me kind of came out of left field. I'm not going to, I felt like this was just going to keep dragging on. And it still is. I mean, there's still plenty of guys
Sure.
that are not signed. But for this day, now look, I still don't like Sandy Alderson as my general manager. I still think I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, Sandy was fantastic in making this deal. Because at the end of the day, I still think he gets lucky with these things because he gets guys signed on his terms for the most part. But a lot of these guys he lucks into because it's a drawn-out free agent process. So in that sense, look, he did a good thing by signing him. I think the Mets are a little bit better. They're not leaps and bounds better. But overall, I like the signing for them. And like I said, I think if anything, I like the leadership for me more than anything.
And that's why I want to talk about, because I think they are leaps and bounds better than last year. If you add in all the guys they're getting back from injury, you add in a guy who can supplement Cespedes' right-handed power, which the Mets are overly left-handed usually, or have been over the last couple of years, over the left-handed. He helps supplement Cespedes in the right-handed side of things. His defense is spectacular. It's spectacular. And here's the thing. He's not going to hit for a high average, but I guarantee you, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, I guarantee you his numbers close and late, his average is much better than his average. And he had I think it was like a 340 on base percentage. So if he does all those things, and I will also say this, I think the Mets, this is the first signing, the first one the Mets have made all year. And this is what, the fourth signing they made now? It's Bruce
Gonzalez Reyes, and
the relief pitcher too, but we won't count him because I'm talking defense. This is the first one. This is the first time the Mets have signed a free agent that actually addresses defense, that actually addresses the thing that you should be addressing all day long. If you want to win with pitching in Major League Baseball, and you can, teams have proven it time and again that you can win with pitching. But the thing that goes with pitching is defense, because your pitchers aren't going to strike out 27 guys. They're just not. And if you don't have guys who can get the balls, well, then it's going to be harder for those great pitchers because hitters hit balls. So you have to have defense. Frazier makes that side of the field, the shortstop, third base side, spectacular defensively. Spectacular.
And again, that's the main reason why. Like I said, the only issue I have with it is nothing to do with Todd Frazier. It's just the fact of moving Cabrera to second.
Right, but if Cabrera was going to play third, and whoever other chucklehead you were going to get playing second, because it wasn't going to be a young guy, so it was either going to be Neil Walker or somebody else.
But I'll take the corner. I'll take the corner person any day.
But Craig, your defense is considerably better with Todd Frazier at third,
and that's why.
And what's his name at second?
And that's why that's why I like it. That's why I'm a big fan of it.
Yes.
Okay, so this was definitely a great move for the Mets. It, hopefully, maybe with everything, as it's getting closer, because pitchers and catchers, I think, is next week, right?
I think it's 7 days, 8 days. I think it's 8 days today.
3/4 of these guys are still not signed, and I mean, this is really saying something at this point. So now you hope.
Do we talk about that?
We talked about it
in closing. No, do we talk about it in closing? Is it in
we're
closing
gonna get into it during closing.
Okay,
time.
then I won't bring it up.
So the thing is that you still have a lot of guys out there.
There are.
And the thing is, maybe this is the time for the Mets to pounce. Now, I'm not saying go out and get J.D. Martinez, because I think at this point that ship has sailed.
Where are you going to play him?
No, exactly. And I'm not saying, but like another pitcher, like a Lance Lynn might not be. On a 1-year deal or 2-year deal for Lance Lynn, if he wants to go that far.
If I'm the Mets, the next two players I sign are not Lynn, Alex Cobb and Eduardo Nunez.
Okay. I like Nunez a lot. I would definitely take
Nunez. You put Nunez at second, and now Nunez isn't a great defensive player. He's a good defensive player. He's not great. He can play all over. And then you have Cabrera. He can be everything. So he'll get his 400-something at-bats by just playing second, short, and third on an everyday basis. Also, you teach him to play first in case something happens over there with fat Dominic Smith and old, what's his name? Old
Aegon?
Aegon, yeah, Aegon, yeah. His age is Aegon, you know what I'm saying? So here's the thing that bugs me about the Mets. And I think they're going to be, look, that division is, the Marlins are going to be crap. I don't think anybody thinks that the Marlins are going to be like the Minnesota Twins and just come out of nowhere and be really good.
We don't even know who's on the roster.
Well,
I mean, like, we don't even know half the guys on their roster.
To quote one of the best baseball movies ever, who are these freaking guys? I think the Phillies will be better, but they still won't be great. And I think the Braves will be better, but again, they still won't be great. The Mets have a chance if healthy, and we just always assume health when we talk about these things because you have to, right?
Oh,
you
sure.
have to assume health.
But this is
So assuming health, the thing that bugs me about the Mets is I feel like Sandy Alderson talks out of both sides of his mouth. Like Sandy Alderson is a politician playing a baseball general manager because he goes and says, well, we didn't try to trade for Giancarlo Stanton because we have Brandon Nimmo. Fine. Great. Nobody agrees with that, but fine, right? But then you go out and sign Jay Bruce. Don't you still have Brandon Nimmo? Where the hell is Brandon Nimmo playing? Now, listen, I'm not saying that Brandon Nimmo is good. That's not what I'm saying. Your GM said it, right? Now,
he kind of has to. Well, first
it was
of all,
tongue in cheek.
Let's call it what it was. Let's call a spade a spade. The fact is,
Don't be racist.
No, it's not that. But I'm just saying.
Totally kidding.
Right?
I'm totally.
But here's the bottom line, though. When he said that, he kind of said that very sarcastically.
He
you
did.
know that.
He absolutely
Which,
did.
And we ripped him for that because it was a huge slap in the face, not only to Brandon Nimmo,
right,
but to the Met fan.
But my thing is this. You have, again, the same problem you had last year with Jay Bruce, which is you have two guys playing the corner outfield spots that can play nowhere else. Now, Bruce can play some first, but what the hell's the point of that? The other two first basemen are both left-handed.
But the problem is, I think right now that Nimmo is going to be I think he's going to be alternating in center field with Lagares. And then when Conforto comes back, they'll have to figure it out from there.
Well, he's going to have to get sent down. I mean, that's the
unless,
other thing, too.
Unless
they trade Lagares.
You trade Lagares, which is a possibility, but I don't.
I guess.
But again, you need his defense. I mean, he can't really hit. His defense is great, but his bat's not that.
And he's always injured.
I mean Nimmo, to me, Nimmo's a better hitter. I don't really know much about his defense compared to Lagares.
Well, but that's the other problem, too, is. So we talked about they upgraded their infield defense, but their outfield defense is atrocious. If Lagares is not on this team next year, their outfield defense is atrocious. Okay? Now, I'm not saying Bruce and Cespedes are bad outfielders. They're just not.
They're not as mobile,
rangy and
to
mobile. So they're not going to get to as many hitters. They're not going to get to as many balls. Like Brett Gardner, go look at Brett Gardner's defensive metrics. The amount of runs and hits he saves just using his speed in a cavernous left field at Yankee Stadium is huge. And they don't have that right now. And if Lagares isn't playing because it's a right-handed hitter, and God forbid Juan Lagares play against a right-handed hitter, your outfield defense suffers, and that again is going to hurt the Mets. The problem. This signing is really good for them. They need to do one or two more things. Like I said, Cobb and Nunez.
See, I'll say Cobb, but I would take Lynn because I think Lynn would be a good innings eater.
I mean, again, I think they're the same pitcher. So, yes, if you want to substitute, that's fine.
And honestly, I would take Lucroy. I still have no confidence in Travis d'Arnaud. Now, listen, catcher is, most catchers aren't that good of hitters. But what worries me is you're going into the season saying, Travis d'Arnaud is my starting catcher. Right. Which means you're expecting him to play, at least 120 games?
At least, right?
Unless it's like a day game after a night game thing, and then, of course,
you're hoping for 130, 135.
And if you get half of that, it's a small miracle with d'Arnaud because he can never stay healthy, and that is troublesome for me. It's troublesome.
It should be.
So if that's the case...
Because your backup options are great.
And the thing is, I would rather have Lucroy because I think Lucroy would be better for those young pitchers, and he's a good bat.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what it's going to cost, but... I mean, listen, at this point, these guys are going to be signing for 50 cents on the dollar just to get into camp. Now, there'll definitely be guys waiting it out, and rightfully so, because you never know in spring training if people get hurt, if guys get hurt. That's a possibility, especially good players. I'm not even talking about rookies or, guys trying to make, even a minor league roster. But I'm saying, guys like J.D. Martinez, maybe they can afford to wait it out a little longer. And
he's got a 5-year, $100 million offer, from what I understand, from the Red Sox.
That's what I heard. I heard it was 125.
Still, whatever. If you're at JD, take it. You're not getting an offer that's better than that right now. Teams, guys, this is.
But these guys also at the same time listen to their agents too much.
Right.
And their agents are going to tell them, no, you're.
Yeah, but Craig, the problem isn't the agent and the player. The problem is that the agent is reading a market from 5 years ago. It's not the same as it was.
But he's
then.
selling the player on that, and the player is sitting there and going, okay, well, I'll listen to my agent because I don't know what the hell I'm going to do.
Right, and the thing is that you know what? Teams aren't stupid anymore. The Robinson Cano contract might be the last stupid contract you see in a very long time. It might be the last 10-year contract you see going to. It will almost definitely be the last 10-year contract you see going to a guy over 30.
Okay,
over 30
for this free agent market.
Yeah.
Okay. How old is J.D. Martinez? Over 30.
He's 28, 29. I think he's 29.
There's still some younger guys probably out there right now. So this 2018 free agent class was not great. See, I'm curious to see what happens in 2019.
Well, yeah, but you're gonna have 26-year-olds. I'll give a 26-year-old a 10-year contract because the last year of his contract is to be 36. I mean, 36 years old, there's going to be decline, but it's not going to be 42.
But again, I'm curious to see how you're going to do that. You're going to do that if you need to do that. But I'm saying I want to see if other teams are even, or is it going to be the same
Well,
type
it's going to
of
be the same type teams because
you
the
know,
other teams
because
don't.
the thing is, we already knew with free agency in the first couple of months, it's always a little slow. It doesn't really start picking up till after the winter meeting.
This is too slow.
And this
Even
is
at
way
this
too
point,
slow.
we're
I mean,
way too slow.
Yeah. Now listen.
Usually January 20th.
Yeah,
or something
like
that.
most of the guys pretty much have deals in place. But the one thing I always said when we talked about free agency in the past was I couldn't get over how you were literally hearing no teams expressing interest in certain players.
Right.
For a while, when it was J.D. Martinez, you never heard teams like, oh, it could be between the Cubs and the Dodgers.
It was two.
I'm just using like teams as an example. I'm not saying the Cubs and Dodgers were ever interested, but like when the year before when guys were signing, you heard about stuff like, oh, it could be a real, these teams are showing really serious interest. You never really heard at any point during this offseason that teams were insanely interested in particular players. It just dragged out and dragged out and dragged out.
Right, but you keep bringing up J.D. Martinez. J.D. Martinez has 1 year. Why am I giving a guy 7 years, $175 million off of 1 year?
But I know that. I'm just saying in general, the comparison between last year this because listen, even the year before, if you had these same guys, you would still hear like it didn't matter if there was a time where it didn't matter if Darvish crapped the bed in Game 7. He was going to get a big contract because teams needed pitching. But like you said, and I agree 100%, GMs are wising up. And they're just not interested in spending that kind of money anymore.
Especially for guys over 30. Darvish is over 30. He's not getting a 7-year contract. It's not happening.
And you hit the nail on the head when we did the show last week on Strong Island, when you said basically that with the Yankees and Dodgers not spending money.
That's it.
Like the Yankees, we're excluding the Stanton trade.
Yes.
Okay, that has nothing to
that's a
do
trade.
with it.
They didn't sign the guy out, right?
The Yankees have signed one player for $10 million, and that was CeCe Sabathia. Mm-hmm. The Dodgers have only signed one player for $3 million. And that was Tom Kohler, the pitcher from Miami.
Right.
So there you have it. And it's a good point because those are the two teams that are most inclined to spend a ton of money in the offseason because that's what the agents want. They want New York and L.A. in it because otherwise, if they're not in it, then you got to sell them on a team like Milwaukee. And I'm not saying Milwaukee's a bad team, but if you're a free agent, you're looking for the big bucks, are you prepared to go to a team like Milwaukee that doesn't have the same kind of marketing capabilities that New York or L.A. have?
And for all the people out there who I keep reading these articles, the Yankees didn't get Frazier because they didn't want to give him 2 years. The Yankees aren't getting. I saw another article.
I had a friend of mine at work.
I didn't have to read it. I
leaving.
didn't have to read the article. The title of the article: 4 reasons why the Yankees should absolutely get Mike Moustakas. No, unless he's coming here for 1 year, there's no other reason because the Yankees have too much talent in the minor leagues that doesn't cost them anything for them to just have a guy gum up the spot for 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, making tons of money again off of 1 year. I like Mike Moustakas as a player. If he wants to come to my team for a 1 year, $12 million deal, I'll sign it to him tomorrow. He could play third base all year for me while the kids sit in the minor leagues and get better defensively. But other than that, the Yankees are not doing that. You don't think the Yankees wanted Todd Frazier back? You don't think that? Are you stupid? Did you watch any of the Yankee games with Todd Frazier on it? The Yankees absolutely wanted Todd Frazier back. And if they weren't willing to give Todd freaking Frazier, who they absolutely loved, 2 years, they're not giving Mike Moustakas 2 years.
Never say never because
Of course, never say never because look, if maybe somebody comes to you and says we'll give you Clayton Kershaw for Miguel Andujar, well then you're going to need Mike Moustakas because Miguel Andujar is going to be playing for the Dodgers. But you know what I'm saying? It's going to be, Craig, there's going to have to be something that happens to one of these two young players, whether it be Torres or Andujar, in the next month or two, where they would go out and gum up. Now, I'm not saying a 1 year contract. They might sign Neil Walker to play second or third this year to a 1 year contract. They're not signing to any more than that. And anybody who says otherwise is wrong because Mike Moustakas doesn't make any sense for them. He just doesn't.
This is the Polar Opposites podcast. Check us out on Spreaker.com as we are currently live. We're also on TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio.
Anything and everything radio.
Yeah, I can't really figure out the rest. It's a little too much. And follow us on Twitter at Polar Opposites 1. Just a reminder, next Tuesday night, February 13th, we will be live again on Strong Island TV at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So we'll give you more details, and also like us and follow us on Facebook as well. Let's get into the Super Bowl.
You want to do this?
Listen, it's been exhausted to the end of time.
Yes.
For the past 48 hours.
Yes.
The game was a great game. There were some things that obviously could have gone wrong or went wrong. Like, I was convinced that if Brady made that catch on that pass, he'd be on the sideline with oxygen like 2 seconds afterwards.
Can I say something real quick? That's not in this, is it? The catch?
No.
Okay.
First of all, I actually like the call.
Okay, but can I just say something? Antonio Brown made an Instagram post mocking Tom Brady for missing the catch.
Yeah.
And all I just want to say to Antonio Brown is, dude, you're not playing in the Super Bowl. What are you doing? Also, that wasn't any. And anybody comparing the Nick Foles and Tom Brady catches to Nick Foles was standing still, and the ball is coming to, and Tom Brady's running a route, which he never does, and it wasn't a great pass.
It kind of had the feel of like that Billy Bob play from Varsity Blues. Where
a little bit, but can we just stop killing Tom Brady for everything, please? Just because he's a winner. Can we stop killing Tom Brady for being a winner, please?
Here's the thing about Tom Brady. First of all, I love that call, by the way. I thought that was a great call.
Yeah.
Because if he catches it, that's at least 15 yards. Because
it's going to be great.
There wasn't anybody near him.
Yeah, and then Hoyer gets a snap in the Super Bowl.
And then he would need oxygen afterwards because he looked like he was going to just pass out as soon as he got the first down.
No way, dude. TB12.
Right?
Never gets tired.
So
TB12.
Tom Brady was light. I mean, he threw for over 500 yards. Now, listen, the Patriots had to throw because they had to get back into the game. But still, he threw for over 500 yards. I mean, the guy had a massive game. I mean, it was just a case of two defenses that got shredded.
Well, let's be fair.
I mean, the Eagles were a little bit better. If I had to give, if you have to give an award for who had the better defense, I'll give it to the Eagles by a slight margin. But they got torched too, man. There were guys wide open all over the field.
Out of the 4 units, the one that did not play the way everyone thought they would was the Eagle defense.
Sorry,
listen, everybody.
It wasn't a case of them not getting.
Nick Foles bailed you out.
They got pressure on Brady, and they definitely got some pressure on Brady, but he's Brady, and he just somehow finds these ways to get these guys open. I mean, there were plays where Danny Amendola and Chris Hogan, where there was nobody on the screen from the Eagles to catch up to them.
But if you look at the history of Tom Brady against Jim Schwartz, he destroys him every time.
Right.
Because Jim Schwartz doesn't blitz, which you shouldn't necessarily against Tom Brady, but you weren't getting you were getting a little bit of a pass rush, but you had 1 sack with that front 4, which is supposedly amazing, and they were all year.
Now, I have a question for you
Sure.
before we get to polar bipolar.
Of course.
Could you argue now?
Yes, of course.
Well, you love to argue.
Yeah, I can argue anything.
Could you argue right now that the Patriots should have lost the last 3 Super Bowls that they were in?
Of course you can.
Seattle? Well, they only won that game because Bevel was an idiot and called that pass.
Apparently
on first and goal
not, though. Bill Belichick has come out and
balls.
said
he got the
no.
I don't want no.
Listen,
no.
You gotta will you listen first before you Mr.
You never listen to me.
That's true. I don't. But this is different. What I'm telling you is fun. Bill Belichick came out and said that actually when the Seahawks went to that play, when they audibled to that play, that it was actually the right football call. That the defense that Bill Belichick had on the field had stopped the formation that they had been in many times before, and that it was the right call. It's just that the wide receivers didn't do it right, and my guy made a play. He said, but as a football play, he goes, it's right to audible to that call.
I just think you run it up the middle with Lynch, touchdown, game over.
Of course, but maybe you don't.
Why not?
You don't.
Why?
I'm just saying, maybe you don't. No, maybe it doesn't. He doesn't run it up the middle for a touchdown. But yes, you can absolutely.
So it is debatable about Bevel's call. About Bevel's call.
Yeah, of course it is.
Okay, now,
but everything is.
Why didn't they win the Super Bowl last year? Because of your boy Kyle Shanahan, and who just totally
right. But
you
But you're talking about. But here's the thing. Again, we're talking about, and this is where the Eagles sort of did what the Giants did, right? The Eagles didn't outthink themselves. They just did what they had been doing all season, right? The Giants did what they did all season. Now, they didn't score as many points, but those Patriot defenses, I think we'll all agree, were better than this year's Patriot defense, right? The 2 the Giants played were better than this year's defense. But the Giants and Eagles did what they did all season, and they didn't break from that. What did the Falcons do last year that broke from all season? They passed on 3rd down when they shouldn't have. They should have ran fan, and it wasn't like their run game sucked. They had a great run game last year. This year, 2 years ago. Now, listen, Belichick aside, I'm handing the ball to Lynch. I don't care what Bill Belichick says. I'm handing the ball to Marshawn Lynch. And if Marshawn Lynch gets stopped, you know what I do? I tip my cap to the Patriot defense and I say, sir, you have bested me at my game. And that's what you do, right? Because I'd rather get beat. It's like you say with a pitcher, right? You'd rather get beat with your best stuff. Why are you giving a home run up on your third best pitch? It makes no sense. The same thing with the Seahawks. So, yes, you can absolutely make the argument that they should be 0-3 in the last 3 years.
Do you think, and again,
to be fair, though,
I'm going to be a little nitpicky.
I could also make the argument that they should have won the helmet catch Super Bowl as well. So,
okay.
You know what I mean?
Enough.
Like, every one of their Super Bowls is like that, though. Every single one, you could go back and there's a play where it changes.
Okay. Do you think, and I'm going to be a little nitpicky here,
Sure.
because I brought this up to a few of my Patriot fan friends, and they kind of agree with me.
Okay.
Now, granted, in the first quarter, when both defenses were just getting torched.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Right? But the Patriots were like fourth and goal on they needed 2 yards, I think.
Isn't that a question on here?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, actually, yeah, it did. So you know what?
Let's just do this and then we'll go from there.
So here we go. We're going to do a polar bipolar because, like I said, Super Bowl has been exhausted, and so we're just going to fire it off and then never talk about it again.
Yes.
Because before you know it, it'll be free agency and then get into the draft and everything else. By the way, ESPN put out their power rankings.
Yeah.
Their too soon power rankings. Right, a day after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Guess where the Giants were?
30.
30.
Good. That's where they should be.
They were.
Why would you assume they'd be anywhere else?
But why though?
Because they were 3-13 and they have the
It doesn't
second
matter.
pick. Yes,
Yeah,
it does matter. It absolutely does matter. How can they predict what happens next season when
Then
you
just
have it
base
at
it.
training camp?
Then
Of course
just
you-
base it, but just-
you have no choice but to
you
base it on
can't-
this year.
But you can't base it right. Listen, I understand you can base it however you want to base it, but free agency hasn't even started yet, so we're going to have the power rankings after free
Craig,
agency.
You just said they called it the way too soon power rankings. I'm sure that will change when there's free agency and the draft and all that stuff. But until Gettleman does anything with the offensive line, then yes, they should be 30th because their offensive line sucks so badly. Like, look what a good offensive line does. It makes Nick Foles be the Super Bowl MVP.
Okay, here we go. Polar bipolar, no music, just opinion.
Done.
Are you ready?
Let's do it. I'm always ready.
Okay, Maddie. Number one, polar or bipolar. Tom Brady is a sore loser after not shaking hands with Nick Foles after the Eagles' victory. Polar.
Can I just say I don't care?
No,
I don't
you
care.
Can't. No, you can't.
I didn't care when Cam Newton didn't shake freaking Peyton Manning's hand. I don't care. I don't even care if the coach shakes hands in the middle of the field. I'm sorry. I don't care. There's no rule that says it. Not every player shakes hands. I see tons of players running off the field at the end of games. Why is it beholden on the quarterback alone to go find the other quarterback who he knows is celebrating and shake his hand? Why is that a thing? Why does that have to be a thing? It's not hockey. If they were all supposed to line up afterwards and shake hands and he didn't do it, yes, that's a sore loser. This is subjective. It's if you think he should be. I didn't think Cam was a sore loser for doing it. I don't think Tom Brady is. I don't care.
Even though he's done it in the past?
I don't care. I don't care. Does it make him kind of a douche? Maybe, but I don't care. I don't care. I really don't.
Okay.
Would it preclude you from bringing Tom Brady to the Jets to play quarterback?
No, of course
not. Then that doesn't matter.
He's 40.
You would still do it.
That's true. Actually,
You would still
I would
do
totally
it in a
do it. I would
second.
still totally do it. I'd do it if he was 45.
I assume you think he is a poor sport.
I mean, I kind of do, but I understand where you're coming from at the same time. I do think it's blown out of proportion a bit,
Yeah.
but I do think it's kind of douchey for you to not do it. I mean, I think, the fact that you lost, and that's it. Now, listen, everybody does things differently, and I can understand in a way when you lose a game like that, maybe you just don't want to be the friendliest guy in the world because you're pissed off that you lost by a touchdown and you missed on a Hail Mary. Okay? So I understand that to an extent, but at the end of the day, I mean, I do think it was a little douchey for a guy who's won 5 Super Bowls. Give the guy a props and just say, good game. I don't know.
Did he shake Eli's hand?
No. There's a story
Then
that he never
good.
did.
Then you know what? Then he's consistent. How about that? He doesn't shake anybody's hand. So there you go.
Fair
I
enough.
don't want to hear it.
Fine.
Number 2, the Patriots really missed Brandon Cooks after he was injured.
I'm going to say bipolar, and the reason why because their offense didn't really miss a beat outside of maybe their running game not being as good with Deion Lewis and Burkhead and James White, but Hogan made some big plays. Gronkowski was huge. So was Amendola. So while listen, the hit on Cooks was brutal. I mean, that he never saw that guy coming. Don't even start that crap. I see the smirk in your face about it being helmet to helmet.
No. Listen, I have a huge problem, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Oh, balls. You have a problem with everything.
I have a problem with listen, if you're an NFL player, here's what I don't want to hear about from you ever again. I don't want to hear about player safety with Thursday Night Football. I don't want to hear about you being mad about fines and crap, because that hit, I'm not saying it was illegal. By the rules of football, that was a legal hit, right? He was a runner, so therefore you can hit helmet to helmet. But the Eagle player was trying to knock Brandon Cooks out of the game. He didn't have to hit him like that. Craig, he hit him up high. He was trying to knock him out of the game. He led with his shoulder and his head up high. He could have very easily put his shoulder pad in that guy's rib cage and hit him just as hard. But he went for the kill shot.
We'll never know We'll never know.
Listen, I watched it live. I watched it happen.
I watched it live too.
And I'm saying that
and
from
the
my
thing
point
is,
of view,
part of it also looks bad because he never saw it coming.
Well, no, but I don't care about that. I'm saying if he
I
never
care about that.
No, but that's illegal. But it's not illegal to do that in the NFL, is what I'm saying. So I'm saying that the way he hit him, right? I'm not saying hitting him where he can't see you is illegal. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you didn't have to hit him up in the head. You didn't have to. Craig, he had enough time to measure him up.
You don't know that.
Craig, watch the play.
Fine, I'll watch it again.
But I'm saying we talk about players sometimes where they do helmet to helmet, where they don't have time to change their momentum in the middle of being in a play. That is not one of those. He went for the head in that specific spot, and he didn't have to.
That's fine. I don't agree. I don't think it was that bad of a hit. I really don't. I just think it looked a lot worse because he never saw it coming.
But I'm saying that as an NFL player, and Richard Sherman, I don't want to hear from you anymore about player safety. If you guys are going to hit each other in the head.
We said this all the time during the year when we saw hits like that, head hits.
I don't want to hear it.
Okay, and I said it too. Matt and I have. This is one thing we agree on. There are headhunters in this league. There's no doubt about it.
Don't want to hear it from them.
Okay? So you cannot sit there. You don't get the right to sit there and preach about player safety when in reality your guys are trying to take each other out.
Yeah.
Okay? And especially safeties, because you know safeties love to take heads off. Okay? Now, me personally, while that hit was pretty vicious, I don't think it was intentional. I don't really believe it was intentional.
I think he intentionally went high on him.
Okay. Number
because
3.
He had time to size it up.
All right, number 3, polar or bipolar. Rob Gronkowski should consider retirement.
I'm gonna say bipolar.
Okay.
I think he was super effective.
Oh, he was outstanding.
I mean, listen, the concussion doesn't help, obviously, with that argument, right? But I mean, he was in the second quarter. The second half. It was all. If Gronk isn't in the game, that game is a blowout completely, right? Gronk just took over the second half of that game. I mean, he's had a lot of injuries over the last couple years, back, elbow, leg, concussions, all that sort of stuff. Here's what I would say, Gronk, play as long as Tom does.
And that's why,
right?
Yeah. And that's why I would also say bipolar, because the same unit is going to be back next year.
The offensive anyway.
Offensive. Amendola will be back. Hogan will be back. The same team is going to be back, even the running backs. I don't know much about who's going to be back on defense, but they'll have a full season of Dante Hightower, so that's, I guess, a little bit of light at the end of your tunnel.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think at this point what's going to wind up happening is just when Tom calls it a career, that's when you're going to see guys like Gronk call it a career.
And Amendola.
Yeah, I mean, because they're going to know the novelty's off, and a novelty is wearing off because, listen, this is a good run. They still have a good run in them for another Super Bowl before Brady calls it a career.
Well, especially the AFC setup.
Sure. I mean, so, I mean, if I'm Gronk, I try to ride it out, but if you do suffer another big injury, then you may have to consider it more and more.
Number 4, the Eagles should keep Nick Foles rather than trade him during the offseason.
I'm going to say polar to this, and the reason why is because I don't know when I'm getting Carson Wentz back.
According to him, it's week 1.
According to him. Now, I'm not going to take his word for it until I know for certain. But at the same time, listen, it doesn't hurt to put him out there, but he's a nice insurance policy to have in the event that Wentz does not come back week 1.
What if the Broncos offer you their second-round pick, which will be a high second-round pick?
I would definitely consider it at that point. But
Now,
I'm
first
saying-
round pick, you're going to do it no matter what, right? I mean, a first round pick, you're going to trade him no matter what.
Of course.
Because any team that would be doing that, unless you're like any team that would be doing that, would be in the top 15, I would think, right? Am I thinking of anybody?
I would try to
missing a team
say
right now that needs a quarterback who had a lot of wins last year.
Maybe the Jags or some Bortles.
The Jags. I mean, they could do like if the Jags offered you pick, what is it, like 26, probably 25,
I would
somewhere
need-
in there. Like, would you do that? If you're the Eagles, you have to, right?
I mean, I'd have 2 picks in the bottom of the first round, which is fine.
I mean, you would have to, right?
But at the same time, I also think, listen, Wentz could say what he wants because he's going to say that right now. He's not going to say, oh, my rehab is not going as great. But at the same time, it gives you enough time to get him 100% where to the point where you don't have to worry about him. And Foles is a good insurance policy. Now, look, I
Couldn't you just
personally
plug
think
anybody in there?
depends on who define anybody.
Nick Foles just won the Super Bowl MVP. Like, did you think Nick Foles was capable of that when Carson Wentz went down, Craig?
Of course I didn't.
So I'm saying, is it a system where you can just shove anybody into and they can be serviceable enough with that defense and that offensive line and that running game and those wide receivers that they could get through 4 games without Carson Wentz?
So I wouldn't say like Ryan Fitzpatrick, but if you had a guy like Teddy Bridgewater, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
what's his name? Is the guy they got? Could you imagine what's his name goes back?
Bradford.
Bradford goes back and they
That would make-
decide the first round pick and the thing.
That would make sense. So look, gauge his value on the market because listen, either some teams are going to be sold by 3 wins and obviously in a Super Bowl victory.
I wouldn't.
But I mean neither. But at the same time, it's like, teams start getting restless because,
Right.
oh, holy shit, Nick Foles just won a Super Bowl. So
Right.
we got to go call the Eagles now because they don't need him.
Right.
Then you look desperate and the Eagles hold all the cards.
Yes. I will. Can I just say this real quick?
Sure.
And we don't necessarily have to talk about it, but it's just something I've been thinking about. Does Nick Foles winning the Super Bowl and playing as well as he did sort of make NFL teams, and is that going to sort of hurt the quarterback money market? Like, if you're a team,
I
are
think
you going to
it's-
be like, well, why the hell would I pay? Wouldn't it be better for me to pay my quarterback $15 million, spend that $7 million on somebody else to make the whole team better, and we can still win that way?
I think it's definitely a possibility. This is where guys maybe like a Teddy Bridgewater could see a little bit of a bump because they're basically they're proven in a sense.
Right.
The only thing that's not proven about Teddy Bridgewater right now is the knee.
Right.
So they have to sell
But
the
it
fact
could
that
hurt Kirk Cousins.
it could hurt Kirk Cousins because he's expecting a big payday and a backup quarterback just won the Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Right.
So it's definitely possible that it could hurt him in the wallet. I don't think it will at the end of the day.
No.
But it's definitely very possible, and you could see something a little similar to what's going on in baseball. The only difference is these guys all sign quick. And nowadays in football, there's loopholes to get out of contracts after a year. Number 5, polar or bipolar. The Patriots should have went for it rather than kick a field goal in the first quarter, which Gostkowski missed.
I mean, yes, hindsight, I would say polar, but I didn't say that when it happened. I'm
I
always
did.
a big fan of going for the points. It was 4th and 5, I think, wasn't it?
I think
was it 4th and 5? It wasn't like 4th and 1, right? It was a 4th and a couple at least. It was 4th and 3 at least. I think it was 4th and 5, but
I said that because I really believe they should have, because they were marching down the field. I mean, and now granted, I know 5 yards might be a lot, but I think for the Patriots,
But let's be fair.
I think
you
it's
really
makeable.
Right, but has Gostkowski ever missed from that close?
It's not the point, though. I just think listen, I would have been fine either way, but me personally as a coach, I would have went for it. That's my thought. And it has nothing to do with whether Gostkowski made it or not. It's just the fact that I really believe that at that point, I think it would have been, I just think they should have gone for it. That's all.
The only reason I don't and I kick the field goal is it's so early in the game. You don't know yet that the Eagles are just going to run up and down the field on you.
Okay.
If that happened in the second or third quarter, I might say differently. But Bill Belichick still probably had to think that my defense could make a stop here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Yeah.
Number 6, the Belichick-Brady marriage will only last another 2 years.
I'm going to say polar. I think I know Brady talked about how he's going to play till he's 45 or something like that, and it's possible. But I think I don't know. Part of me just thinks he looks, while he still has the arm and he still runs the offense like a well-oiled machine, he looks a little beat up, man. And that pass play was a perfect example of what I saw. Just like, not in a bad sense, but it just looks like you could just kind of see the age on him a little bit.
He's 40.
I know, which is why I think
TB12.
at this point, I could just see it like 2 years, maybe a third, and then I think they're just going to get blown up at this point.
With all the Malcolm Butler stuff and all the other stuff that's going on, I'm not even sure it's going to last after this year.
Really?
I mean, it's getting real chippy. You had the stuff with the guy, the personal trainer on the sideline. You had the ESPN story. You have him liking Malcolm Butler, like Brady liking Malcolm Butler's Instagram post about his comments about why he was benched.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, you got a lot of stuff. Here's the thing. This stuff didn't happen 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
It didn't happen, and it's happening now. We're seeing cracks. And the thing is about a dam, you start to see cracks. It very rarely slowly leaks out. It usually just destroys everything in its path.
Number 7, we still have no clue what a catch is after questionable TDs by Zach Ertz and Clement.
Yeah, no, we don't. And here's why. And listen, I'm not saying the Ertz catch isn't a catch. I think it's absolutely a catch. But you can't tell me that the 2 steps that he made, right, and what the tight end did in the Steeler game aren't the same thing. I know that the tight end was Jesse James, right? Mm-hmm. I know James didn't take steps, but watch the play. He basically takes 2 steps with his mind, the way his body changes position, holding the ball clearly in midair, and then changes position to lunge for the end zone. So, no, nobody knows what a catch is. And the other thing wasn't a catch. I'm sorry, Chris Collins, he's bobbling the ball, and
Collins was getting killed.
I mean, how do you, what? Let me tell you this. If that is a catch, the Cowboys got screwed, Megatron got screwed out of like 8 touchdowns. Like, there's tons of people who got screwed. That wasn't a catch. And that's a huge call in that spot. If they overturn that and they don't score a touchdown there, who knows what the hell happens? The fact that they didn't is... I never, ever, 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 ever want to hear again how the league is in the pocket of the Patriots. I want to hear it, because if they were, that would be overturned.
No, I agree.
It should have been, but it would have been.
But again, it's just, I was waiting for Riveron to come on like during the game about the catch, or like whether it's a catch.
Riveron, he's a douche. Number 8, Bill Belichick was justified in benching Malcolm Butler for the entire Super Bowl.
Oh man, this is a tough one.
You don't really know why, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'll never really know. I mean, he said it was discipline. He said it wasn't disciplinary, but I think it was disciplinary. But at the same time,
Malcolm Butler says no. Malcolm Butler says no. Everything that they said was a lie. I never missed curfew. I never did anything. I spent time with my family.
It was then it was weed and women, according to another former Patriots player. Man, is there like a thing to push on this one? Because honestly, like, we don't really know what's right and wrong.
We'll find out in 10 years in the follow-up of the Bill versus Bill 30-30.
Like, we already know, we already know that Butler will not be back with the Patriots next year as a free agent. So in that sense, I mean, and then on top of that, you had somebody posted about it being divided locker room.
Yeah.
During the pregame.
Sure. Yeah.
And then it was Brandon Browner, the former Saints corner. And I was like, okay, I mean, I get it. But the thing is like, Belichick is very mum on these things. He never likes to really disclose anything. All he said it was a disciplinary reason. It had to do with, Schefter's reporting, had to do with curfew.
No, Belichick said it was a coach's decision. What I thought was best for the team.
Then people said it had to do with weed. Then it had to do with a curfew and a crappy week of practice or something like that. I mean, listen, if Malcolm Butler has a crappy week of practice, you're not going to bench him for the Super Bowl.
But he was sick, too. That was the thing. They probably didn't think he was physically prepared. I mean, look, justified? No, because they lost. Mm-hmm. And they lost because their defense was terrible. So if that guy could have helped in any way, then no, he's not justified unless that guy did something egregious.
Yeah.
And then he's absolutely justified.
Number 9, polar or bipolar. Justin Timberlake's halftime performance was disappointing.
I'm going to have to defer on this one because I didn't watch it because I don't care.
Okay.
Because Justin Timberlake, although I think is a talented dude, how can I say this politely about Justin Timberlake? If black people didn't exist, Justin Timberlake wouldn't be famous for stealing black people's stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's how I feel about Justin Timberlake. Like, I think he's talented. He can sing, he can dance, he can do all those things. He's not even bad in movies. But I feel like he is selling black culture to white America, and that's why he's famous.
Okay. Honestly, it was a little all over the place because it was like,
the Prince tribute, and yeah.
But the thing is, if you were sitting in the stadium,
it's probably cool.
It was if you could see it,
right?
Because he came out on one side, so the people on the other side can't see him.
Right.
The way the stage was set up was a little high, so unless you were sitting in like the next section up, or maybe in the back of the 100 section,
right,
you couldn't really see too well. And then he came around the other side. Then at one point he ran into the stands from like, it just seemed like it was just like, it was a little discombobulated and a little safe, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Number 10, the Super Bowl commercials weren't that bad this year.
Weren't that bad? Yes, I'll say polar to that. There were some good ones. The Eli one was
Comparatively
actually
speaking, yes, they were decent this year.
But I'm saying like they weren't like amazing.
The Eli Odell
The Eli
one
was good. You know, there were the one with Peter Dinklage was pretty funny when, you know,
I will say the
and
best
Morgan
part,
Freeman.
The best part about the Eli Odell is not Eli and Odell. It's Landon Collins.
Yeah.
Watch Landon Collins when he's just sort of shimmying on the side to Time of My Life.
that
It's
was pretty-
hysterical. He's like, let them dance.
Yeah, like that was pretty funny. I mean, like, but it also had its fair share of bad ones. I mean, there were some boring ones.
Can I
The one for Febreze was weird.
Can I say something, please? That I understand the Peter Dinklage one was funny and good and cool and yada yada, but like, there's something soul crushing about watching actors you like respect and think are decent actors sell their soul to the devil so they can sell me friggin' Doritos and Mountain Dew. Like, I'm sorry, like, it hurts. It hurts watching, like, bad actors, fine, say whatever you want. Athletes, you've been doing that since the beginning of time. I get it. Your life is limited in sports, so you got to sell. I have no problem with that. I'm talking about good actors. You know, like, what are you doing? Patrick Stewart, what are you doing? Stop selling me friggin' scotch. Or whatever the Strongbow, whatever the hell, stop. Sorry.
The crazy thing was, I thought the Australia commercial was actually a Crocodile Dundee reboot.
Oh, that looks terrible. I'm sorry.
With Danny McBride, that was going to kill me.
It looks terrible. Oh yeah,
You know?
But they also did they put out the Australian actor Bat Signal because every one of them's in it. Every one of them.
But then at one point, like it cut to Paul Hogan, and I literally thought it was Freddy Krueger sitting at the bar.
Yo, that was Paul Hogan.
That was Paul Hogan.
Oh, that might be. Maybe it is a horror movie. I don't know.
I don't know.
You want to do Buzzer Bell?
So there you have it.
Yes.
Super Bowl. We are not talking about it anymore.
That's it.
And that's that. Now we'll just, as we get closer and closer, we'll get into the free agency of the NFL as it's right before you know it, it's here.
Yes.
And then we're going to start doing an MLB preview soon. We got to do that. We keep forgetting that it's starting. It's over right around the corner.
Good. We got plenty of time.
So we got plenty of time to do it, but it'll be on a future episode of Polar Opposites.
Yes.
Right now, we are going to do our favorite game show on Polar Opposites. It is Buzzer versus Bell. A little louder since we're doing it on the radio podcast.
Oh, stop. Jeez.
Now, as usual, Buzzer versus Bell, Matty has no idea what the topic is.
None.
I gave him the choice of two.
Yes.
And he picked this one. We will do the other one next week on Strong Island.
Yes.
Because my spidey sense tells me that Matt will be extra salty next week when we do that subject, but we are not going to tell you what it is until next Tuesday night on Strong Island Radio.
Good idea.
There we go. Are you ready?
I am.
So here is the topic for today.
Yes.
There's going to be 15. We'll do them really quick.
Quick. Yes, I'll give them quick.
Okay. This is a case of with baseball free agency, there's still a lot of good players out there.
Right.
So CBSSports.com decided to come up with where these guys would best fit on their team.
And I'm going to say if that's a good idea or bad idea.
Yeah.
Or Buzzer Bell.
Buzzer or Bell.
Yeah, Buzzer's bad idea, just so anybody doesn't understand how this works.
Okay, so I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way to the top.
Do it. I'm ready.
Okay, number 15.
Yes.
Lucas Duda to the Astros.
Sure. Because why not? Backup first baseman, left-handed DH. Sure. Hit a bunch of home runs. Fantastic.
Okay, number 14.
Sounds good.
Andrew Kashner to the Orioles.
Why would anybody want to go to the Orioles?
But would you, if you're the Orioles, would you really want to spend money on Andrew Kashner? I mean,
No,
shouldn't you go after like a better pitcher?
I mean, I guess, but that's the Orioles do, right? The Orioles are the Mets of the American League. They buy low.
They haven't bought anybody.
No, but when they do, they buy low. They try and make guys who fail with other teams successful, and it doesn't usually work.
Okay, number 13.
Yes.
Eduardo Nunez to the Red Sox.
Oh. Worked last year. Why wouldn't it work this year? He could play a bunch of different positions. Good idea.
Number 12.
Yeah.
Cargo to the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I would, if I'm Cargo, I'd go to an American League team so I can DH, but he doesn't hurt the Diamondbacks. He'll help him in outfield depth, and he's got power. He can back up Goldschmidt. He can play left or right.
First base, I think.
He can play a little first base. There you go. Why not? If I'm him, I'd go to the American League, but not a terrible idea.
Number 11. Neil Walker to the Yankees.
I mean, I'll say yes, just because he can play third, he can play second, and that's what the Yankees need right now, and they might need a veteran to back that up. But I don't think that he'll end up there.
Number 10. Carlos Gomez to the Indians.
I hate Carlos Gomez so much that
Just one
like
of
I
my-
don't want him to go anywhere. Like, can Carlos Gomez go play for the Marlins so I never have to watch him?
Oh, wait, I miswrote this. I was going to say Carlos Gomez to the Long Island Ducks.
No, still no. Marlins. That's the only team I'll accept him going to is the Marlins. I hate you, Carlos Gomez, and your smug jerk face. Sorry.
Number 9,
Do it.
Greg Holland to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's not signed yet.
I
even
am
though
too,
because
because he's an excellent closer.
Yeah,
he's a very good
he was
closer.
very good
and
last year.
I know he's had arm problems and stuff, but he's been very good. And the Cardinals, just like, why wouldn't you? If you're the Cardinals, go get him. You need a closer. Why not?
I mean, if you're a team like he was good in Coors Field, which says a mouthful. I mean,
He'll be better in Busch
I'm really
Stadium.
surprised he's not signed yet. Number 8, Jonathan Lucroy to the Nationals.
Weeder's in there?
Yeah, he's still there.
I mean, no. Why would you do that if you're the Nationals? You have Weeders unless you want to split time, but that doesn't make any sense. Lucroy's too good to split time, so you're going to sign one or sign the other. If I'm the Mets, that's where, if I'm Lucroy, Mets.
Number 7, Logan Morrison, a.k.a. Logie Bear.
Yeah, oh, douche.
You want to do the buzzer now?
No.
To the Rays.
Yes. Just because they deserve each other. Overrated meets
Oh, my God.
overrated. Thank you so much.
Oh no, that was Logan Forsythe, the guy that got was that everybody was going crazy about.
Yeah.
Logie Bear.
I don't care. Logan, they can all be, you name your kid Logan, you deserve that. Idiots.
Hey, my nephew's named Logan, so don't be a douche.
I just said it's a terrible name.
Don't be a douche.
Unless you're
Don't be a
Wolverine,
douche.
that's all you get.
Don't be a douche.
It's a last name.
Don't be a douche.
It's a last name.
Don't be a douche.
It's a last name.
Anywho, you just disrespected my nephew.
No, I didn't. I disrespected the people who named him Logan.
That's my freaking sister, you moron.
Of
Dumbass.
course I know that. Come on. Let's go.
Can you just say I'm only kidding? Thank you.
Sure.
Number 6,
Good idea.
Alex Cobb to the Brewers.
Yeah, pitching. Anytime you're going to add pitching, especially good pitching, Alex Cobb's a good pitcher. You send him over there, National League, he's going to be better. He was good in the American League, better in the National League.
Number 4,
Yes.
Mike Moustakas to the Braves.
Sure. They need a third baseman. He's a good third baseman.
He needs a job.
He needs a job. They need a third baseman. It works perfectly. I mean, I wouldn't go there if I'm him, but why not? I mean, if you're them, you do it, yes, but I wouldn't go there.
If
I'm
you had
him.
a choice between them or Kansas City,
Kansas City.
even though Kansas City has barely anybody,
Kansas City.
they don't have anybody.
Doesn't matter.
They're gonna suck.
Yeah, but you're home. You know home. You know there. You're not winning the National League East right now with the Braves team. You have a chance at winning the American League Central. You don't have a chance at winning the National League East.
And I think at this point with Moustakas, he's only going to get a 1-year deal at this point.
Right.
So I guess if you go to Atlanta, that's the only way the Braves are.
If
gonna
you're
bring him.
if you're only going to take a 1-year deal, you go to the Yankees.
No, that's true.
So
If the Yankees
Yes.
want to sign him. Number 3, Eric Hosmer to the Padres.
Yes for the Padres, no for Eric Hosmer. Can I do that? For the Padres, absolutely. He's a good leader. He's a good player. He'll be good in the number 3 or 2 spot in your lineup. If you're Eric Hosmer, why would you go there? They never do anything, ever.
But
Ever.
I think, but weren't the Padres the team that offered him like a 7-year deal?
But so do the Royals. He has to choose. I think it's the same amount of money for both teams. And if that's the case, you stay with the Royals.
Number 2, Jake Arrieta to the Nationals.
Yeah. You can never have too much pitching. And as you've seen with the way that team runs their pitching staff into the ground, there you go.
And number 1,
Do it.
Yu Darvish to the Yankees. Actually, that's not what it is.
Oh, it's not okay. I was anticipating Yankees, so I just had it ready.
Yu Darvish to the Cubs.
Anywhere but the Yankees, I'm good.
Okay, fair enough.
Anywhere but the Yankees, I'm good.
There you have it. I don't know. This isn't working out too well. I liked it better when you were really salty and you were really pissy. Like, like when we did the Giants one, that was like.
Well, no, but if you had done, should
That
these
was-
people
that-
come to the Yankees, I'll be more salty.
That was
for
Pul-
those teams.
That was Pulitzer Prize one. Okay,
That
how about
was
this?
fantastic.
The short version.
Yeah.
Not gonna say. I'm just gonna name the player.
Yeah.
And you tell me
Okay.
buzzer or bell.
Yeah.
Lucas Duda. Andrew Kashner. Eduardo Nunez. Carlos Gonzalez. Carlos Gomez. Greg Holland. Stop.
I'm buzzing Greg Holland, too. Actually, no, I would take Greg Holland.
Jonathan Lucroy. Alex Cobb.
Oh, no, lie.
Logan Morrison. I forgot this one. Lance Lynn to the not to the Yankees, to the Twins.
Yes.
Okay. Mike Moustakas. Eric Hosmer. Jake Arrieta.
I don't want to pay him.
Yu Darvish. That's such bull. I know you want Yu Darvish. You talk
Yeah.
about it all the time.
Yeah, I totally want you, Darvish. Real quick, because we don't have a lot of time before we got to get to closing time. NBA trade deadline coming up. The Knicks and Nets are both going to probably be sellers at this point, and they both should.
Nets made a minor move for a draft pick.
Yep.
But
If you're the Knicks, 3 players: Porzingis, Ntilikina, and what the hell's his name? Hardaway. Those are the only 3 players. Everybody else gone. Trade anybody else. I don't care. And Trey Turner. I don't want to. Not Trey Turner. Trey Burke. I don't want to trade him either. Those 4 players. Anybody else can go.
I mean, right now there's not really much going on with the Nets. There was talk about them possibly. Joe Harris is showing some interest from Golden State.
Yeah,
but they're not going to get like a first round pick from
No,
them.
no,
We know
no.
that. But if they can get a second, they're going to have like 3 or 4 second round picks.
And maybe
this
you
year.
can, couple those out with other things. Do you think LeBron gets traded?
No, I do think he's done in Cleveland now.
Do you think that Cleveland trades the first round pick to get somebody
That's a good question.
to hopefully appease LeBron to stay?
I think it would probably have to be somebody like DeAndre Jordan. I think for them because I think they really want DeAndre
Or Kemba Walker.
or Kemba Walker.
I would do it for Kemba.
That. I would do it for that. Kemba.
Can I say something real quick? And this is going to sound crazy, but I think the Cavs and Knicks could be trade partners here. I think that Jared Jack would be a great fit for the Cavs right now because that's one of the things they lack. And I know they have Derrick Rose and yada yada, but a real point guard, they don't have a real point guard.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough to say about the Cavs right now. I mean, there's a lot of stories going around about how LeBron James has lost the team and all this nonsense,
Cursing out people.
Yeah, so I mean, they're all ganging up on Kevin Love like it was Julius Caesar because he got sick, So in that sense, I mean, the team is just a bona fide mess right now. And now maybe they pick it up towards the end of the year, but you can't keep adding on to the pile of crap that you already have.
Yeah, you can. It's just going to be a super crap pile when he leaves.
So the thing is like LeBron has got to make, listen, if you're not going to be back and you may not be able to get him back, then you really need to be careful with how you approach this offseason because he could leave you high and dry for LA and you're stuck trying to rebuild a crappy roster moving forward.
Right.
So that's that. Buzzer bell is over. Let's close the show. Let's do a little halftime.
It's all right. I said polaropposites.podbean.com, so it's fine.
That's like 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I know, but that's fine.
I
opened the show like that for 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like one of those, let's do those in memoriam montages of us on Podbean. And we only had like 30 listeners a week.
Hey, but that's over a couple thousand over 4 years.
But then the computer virus hit there, and then all of a sudden we were getting 400 listens a week. So, I mean, I don't interrupt Hacksaw.
It's all right.
But basically, here we go. We have 4 topics. Anything goes. All opinions vary. All opinions legal. All opinions matter. Maddie, are you ready?
Ho!
All right, number 1. The Baseball Players Association is calling reports of a possible boycott among players due to the slow-moving free agent market, quote, false, and released a statement saying that no such threat has ever been made, nor has the union recommended such a course of action. Last week, Agent Brody Van Wagenen floated the possibility of a walkout, and players have discussed not showing up to camp until the mandatory day or even a week later than usual. So basically, if they don't come in this week, they're going to hold out until next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's dumb.
That's a big sticking point right there.
Oh, my God, I'm worried.
The main issue with that was the league could view this as an illegal strike and take the union to court, with numerous text messages among the players proving to be the smoking gun. Maddie, would a boycott make the players look worse and slow free agency down even further?
Well, the problem I have with this is that the players are crying foul here when there's not too much foul to be cried. This isn't Andre Dawson getting no offers. There's tons of players getting offers. They're just not accepting the offers. They don't like the offers. Well, I'm sorry. This is the real world, guys. It just is. I'm sorry you don't like your 5 years, $125 million contract offer, JD Martinez. But you know what? Everybody else in the country would take that, so nobody's going to be on your side on this. Nobody. You guys are getting contract offers. I'm sorry that they're not the contract offers you like, but guess what? This is the new normal. Your agent needs to learn this. They need to learn that the days of JD Martinez just getting signed to a 7-year, $200 million contract, or whatever the hell it is, are gone. Now, players, Machado, Harper, Trout, those guys are going to get paid. But here's the thing, JD Martinez is going to get paid too. It's just going to be more commensurate to what he's worth. And that's what they need to get behind.
I
so
agree.
This is nonsense.
No, I agree. And I think that they really need, at this point, I mean, you really don't have an axe to grind. I mean,
No.
It's up to the owners, and then you're accusing the owners of collusion. I mean, they're just not worth what they're asking for. And
Also,
most
don't
owners are
sign
thinking
the
about
collective
that.
bargaining agreement.
Yeah. I mean, you can negotiate that later, and maybe it's but the fact is that signing these guys to 5-6 year deals is just not going to happen this late in the year. I think they're going to take a lot of 1 to 2 year deals. These guys are going to sign for like 50 cents on the dollar now moving forward because they need a job.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. So, no, I think it actually makes the players look worse at the end of the day.
I agree. Number 2, everyone expected the Kirk Cousins drama to be over after the Redskins acquired Alex Smith from the Chiefs. But even with Smith in the fold for the next 4 years, the Redskins are considering hitting Cousins with the franchise tag for the 3rd straight season. The Skins' thought process, which you can't imagine one, is by using the franchise tag. They could trade Cousins and try and recoup what they lost in the Smith trade. Placing the franchise tag on Cousins for a 3rd year, it would cost the Redskins over $30 million for the 2018 season. Is it worth the risk?
No, it's not. And the Redskins should just move on. It's time to freaking move on from this. Like, what is the fascination with giving Kirk Cousins the franchise tag? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you just got Alex Smith. You gave them $72 million guaranteed, and now you want to throw another $30 million at Kirk Cousins? Now here's the thing. If I'm Kirk Cousins and I know I can make $30 million for just being on the bench, I might just sign the damn franchise tag. Wouldn't you? Okay. So I'm like, so if I'm Kirk Cousins and they really want to franchise me, this is a very simple case. It's, you want to be a dick? I'm going to be a dick too. So you want to franchise me to hold me up from going to another team like Denver or Cleveland or the Jets or Arizona? Then I'm going to be a dick and sign it, and I'm going to make your salary cap a living hell to the point where you cannot sign one player this offseason.
Oh, God. The Redskins are literally... It's embarrassing. This is embarrassing. The fact that you're talking about doing this is embarrassing, because here's the other thing. If you're Kirk Cousins, you would do it. If you're another team, why on earth would you trade for Kirk Cousins when you can just get him next year for whatever you want to pay him? That'd be $34 million. It's insane. The Redskins are insane, but keep going, Redskins. As a Giant fan, this is delicious.
This guy's made $80 million doing just off 1 year deals.
When he asked for $44 million guaranteed over 4.
Yeah,
and that's
they
where
said
the
no.
Redskins have been totally stupid.
Number 3, Patriots fans that needed to find a quick release to get over the team's loss in Super Bowl 52 reportedly watched a lot of porn. According to Pornhub, traffic from their Massachusetts fans was as high as 28% above normal at 1 a.m., while in Philadelphia, the traffic to their site was at about 13% above normal. When the Eagles hoisted the Lombardi Trophy after their victory, traffic among Pornhub users plummeted 56% in Philadelphia. Maddie, are you surprised that fans flock to porn sites to get over their team's loss as quickly as possible?
No, not at all, because here's the thing, right? The reason that it goes down in Philly is because people are actually having sex because they're happy. Whereas in New England, everybody's annoyed and pissed off, so they go their own way.
Or they're
you gotta
jumping
do your
off
own
warnings
thing.
and eating horse poop.
Well, yes. Sure, if you're a complete moron. But yeah, it makes perfect sense. Joy, happiness, a lot of sex. Anger, rage, no sex. Makes perfect sense. Now, I mean, it's weird that we have these numbers. That's weird. Thank you, Pornhub, I guess. But, like, here's the thing, Pornhub. I appreciate you giving us these numbers, but I don't really need to know the whack-off schedule of the Patriot fans and Eagles fans, okay? I don't need to know. I don't need it in my head that at 1 a.m. on Sunday night, half of Patriot Station was whacking their willies. I don't need to know it. I don't. And thank you so much.
What have made this story a bit more extreme is if Pornhub actually told you what people were into in Massachusetts.
Yes. Which I would imagine it was a lot of...
farm animal fetishes?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. That or, I'm going to guess...
Horses? Maybe they like horses?
No, that's Philly. I would say more,
Goats?
maybe goats because they have Tom Brady. Maybe
Yeah.
it's goat porn.
That's actually interesting. Right?
You
That's
know?
a good, it's interesting
Should we
variation.
check out which animals? I'm sure Pornhub has all that information for you. You can check it out on their website.
Yeah.
You know. Number 4, Josh McDaniels and Matt Patricia called their final plays for the Patriots in Super Bowl 52 as Patricia was named the new head coach in Detroit and McDaniels the new head coach for the Colts. Both inherit teams with franchise QBs, although Andrew Luck has been out of football for over a year, but both also question marks on offense and defense. Between McDaniels and Patricia, who is most likely to have a rough beginning with their new team?
I'm going to say McDaniels because not only, listen, he has Andrew Luck, but there's still a lot of problems with that team in general. But mainly they have no defense, they have no offensive line to protect him. And outside of that, I think, I'm not sure if Frank Gore's retiring, which means he may not have a running game either. Now, you still have T.Y. Hilton, and that's about it. But so there's a lot more to fix in Indianapolis than I think in Detroit. The only thing about Detroit that would worry me is you're playing in the NFC North, and it's a tough division. You're going to have a healthy Aaron Rodgers twice a year, and you're going to have a very good Minnesota Vikings team with one of the best defenses in the league. That could be a rough start for Patricia as well, but I think out of the two, I think McDaniels is going to have it more. And the thing about McDaniels is, and I said this to my friend at work who's a big Patriots fan, I don't think he has the temperament for a rebuild. I think he's going to expect it to turn right off the bat because he's that arrogant to think that he will. The Colts have a lot of issues right now.
They do.
And I just think at this point, if I had to pick between the two, I'd say McDaniels.
I would say that just because I think that Detroit has better personnel right now anyway. I mean, quarterbacks aside, right? Good defensive offensive personnel. But I think with a good draft, I think if Andrew Luck is healthy, again, assuming health of Andrew Luck, which I don't know if we can do, but I will for this particular argument, I think that you can turn it around quickly in the NFL. Look at the Eagles, man. They got rid of everybody, basically, almost everybody at Chip Kelly's people. They got rid of almost all those guys, and in 2 years they won the Super Bowl by just having good drafts and making good deals and getting rid of guys that were bad in the clubhouse. If you do it, you can do it quick, especially in that division, because you can't count on Jacksonville's defense to be that good next year. You just can't. And their offense wasn't amazing. It was good, but not amazing. And that division is very winnable. So if you get offensive line in there, you get a running back, you can make some waves.
All right. Closing time is officially over, and this episode of Polar Opposites is over. And we'd like to thank everybody for listening as always. Just a reminder once again, next Tuesday night, February 3rd.
Sorry. Next Tuesday night. Say it again.
Next Tuesday night, February 13th, we are back live on Strong Island Television at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll give out the phone number on the Facebook page as well as the day of. And next week, we'll talk. We'll probably do some little recap of the trade deadline. Did the Cavs make the moves? What do the Knicks and Nets do? We'll get into some baseball, if basketball, whatever we can squeeze in. And if we have time, we'll try to squeeze into our first MLB preview to start spring training. And, of course, as always, do the Mets and Yankees last. So enjoy the games. Actually, there's nothing really going on now that the Super Bowl is over.
Yeah.
Enjoy the week. Enjoy life. And we will talk again next Tuesday night live on Strong Island Television.
Bye. And apologies to Logan and his parents. I was kidding. Apologies.
Thank you.
Bye.
Secret reveal.
Yes.
Bye.